Just 1 second. Okay, a good Erev Shabbos Kodesh, Parshas Maasei 579 in Eretz Yisrael. Matis Maasei, if you're in Chutzlar, it's finally catching up from Pesach, from the Zman of the Geula. Pesach is Zman Geula Seinu, and the 3 weeks, 9 days. Ba'etzim is the opposite. In a weird way, it could be Zman Geula Seinu. And really, it's been stretching this long that the Parshas have been a little bit off balanced. So finally, we can share a thought that's going to be relatable to everybody in Parshas Maasei. We know that the Torah doesn't use a single extra letter. Every single letter in the Torah is accounted for and has a purpose and a meaning, and there's nothing extra. There's no extras in the Torah. Rabbi Akiva's Tilin on every one of the crowns that's in the Sefer Torah, on every letter, there's a crown. He has a pshat for everyone. So, what's Parshas Maasei? Repeat of the story? Is that really what's going on here? We're repeating stories now. Torah is not a storybook. There's a very deep, deep lesson going on here. The Medrash explains and gives an example. It says, never, the words of the Medrash are, a king whose son is sick. He travels with him, brings him somewhere else to get him the cure. And they're on their way back. Of course, obviously now the child is doing better, the son of the king, the prince, is doing better. And now Hischil Aviv, his father, starts to recount the whole operation of what happened. Kan Yashananu, Kan Hupernu. Here we rested. Here we got to know people. Kan Chashashta Esrishecha. Here you lay down. You're sick. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to Moshe, Minola him kol ha'mekaymes heichen nechiyusim. It's like you hear a person whose son is sick, and afterwards they're going, oh, and over there, we went to this doctor, he told us this, he sent us there, we went traveling here. Well, Azov, your kid's better. Why are you still talking about doctors? Why are you still talking about nurses and where you went and where you came? You're better now. But it's that the whole story means something to me because it was my child that was sick that's now better. That's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is doing here. As the Medrash tells us, it's from the tremendous love he's telling us the story. It's not for Klal Yisrael to know where they went, that everything was Al Pi Hashem, because we already know Al Pi Hashem Yachanu Al Pi Hashem. So here it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu saying, we traveled together. We went here, we went there, we went here. We're about to go to Eretz Yisrael. We're holding at the entrance to Eretz Yisrael when this is all being said. Reb Tzadok brings down very long barichas here, and we'll try to do it in as short as possible. He says, you know what the difference between in English we'll say this, between the rest stop and a parking lot, or you don't park at the rest stop. You stop the car. You park when you get to the destination. There's no chanoya here. Klaisel didn't park in the midbar. They pulled over, they rested. And each step of the way is to get to the next point. We know by Shabbos Kodesh, we know that if Klal Yisrael keep one Shabbos, miyad nigalu. You want to get out of Golos, you want to not fast next week Sunday. Shabbos Kodesh is the answer. If all of Klal Yisrael would keep one Shabbos, we would be nigal. Shabbos Kodesh. So, but we know that the Gemara says, Yisrael Shomer Shtei Shabbos miyad nigal. You have to keep 2 Shabbos and then you'll be nigal. So is it 1 Shabbos or 2 Shabbos? Sagt zum Tzadik v'shomer b'nei Yisrael es ha-Shabbos. Klal Yisrael has to keep Shabbos. La'asos es ha-Shabbos, to do the Shabbos. There's 2 Shabbos. There's 2 beginners. There's a Shabbos Tator and a Shabbos Ilo. There's the lower Shabbos and a higher Shabbos. And how does this work? When a person is Shomer Shabbos, not just the Shebal Tasid that I'm not going to do Malacha and I'm not going to do anything wrong on the Shabbos to be Mechal Shabbos. That's not enough. You have to do an Asay Tov, not just the Sur Meira. You have to do an Asay Tov. You have to keep Shabbos, to do Shabbos, to keep Shabbos. And by keeping Shabbos, you're going to bring Kedusha into Shabbos, which will shoot out to the week. It'll have an effect on the rest of the week. And then the week will have a rocket effect to the next Shabbos, where you'll mamash be starting off on a much higher level. And that is the Shabbos Elo, the higher Shabbos. Because when a person, when all Klal Yisrael will get there, miyad nigalu. And we have to realize that every step of the way to get there is during the week to the Shabbos Elo. We have a week in between. After we went through the Shabbos, we have a week till the next Shabbos. We have to hold on to that Kedusha and build on that Kedusha. And when we put in that Kedusha, it has an effect. So it says Reb Tzaddik, that's what was going on here. Let's break this down. Here Yeshananu. Here we rested. Says Reb Tzaddik, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying, this is where you had a hard time. Why was it called Refidim? Because you left the Torah. Kanhu Karnu. Here you became cold. Right? What does it say about Amalek? he made us cold, and he what's the word here? What's the word? He Amalek. Then it said by him, Ashekarcha baderech. He made it cold in your way. Shumashlach kerirus. He threw coldness. The atzvus believe and all this kind of anxiety. Even if we're going to be sur meirah, it's going to slow us down from Naasei Tov. And all these things, all these places, even if we were sur meirah, the Naasei Tov didn't happen. So we had to stop in these places and be mitar these klippas that were going on around, and then we could continue. That's why sometimes it was a week, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 10 years. However long it took to clean up what was going on. You see, HaKadosh Baruch could have very easily taken us. If you look at a map of Eretz Yisrael, if you look at a map of Eretz Yisrael, route that HaKadosh Baruch took us to bring us into Eretz Yisrael seems a little bit roundabout. Why not come straight through the Sinai desert, up where I lie, Midbar Paran, straight into Eretz Yisrael? Why come to Midbar Paran, Taka, then take a right to the other side of the Yarden and the Yamamelech and the Kinneret? Come on through the top of the Kinneret. Why are you going around? Could have saved a lot of travel time. So, brought down that the reason is that had we gone the short way and we would have hit Milchama, it would have been, if it would have been easy to get to Eretz Yisrael, and then war would happen, and then all of a sudden it's not so easy. Some of the people would have turned around and went back to Mitzrayim. What do I need this for? Why do I have to go through this hardship? I left Mitzrayim to come to a war for what? When Eretz Yisrael was easily attainable, right? But with all this on the way and the anxieties and the lack of the Naasei Tov, and that it's taking to get through and clean up our act in all these places before we could move on, before the Aron would move on, the Shechina would move on, and we'd continue to get to Eretz Yisrael. Kan chashta shechachem, we have to recognize that this is what HaKadosh Baruch is telling us, is that sometimes you're sick and you're not well, and then you become a little bit honest, a little bit. It's not. Maybe you have an excuse. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch is saying. I love, because of His love, He's saying, yeah, there were all these bad things, and that's true. But I love you, and that's why you have to go through this. All this gullus, the 40 years that's going on in the Midbar, all the Masais, all the different stops, and it's 10 years over here, and 4 days here, and 12 hours here, and all the different stops with the Meraglim and the Main Mariba, and all of it is because I love you, and I'm trying to get you to the place where we could get to the Chaniyah Amitit, the real true parking spot, where we can get to our destination. When we get to the words of you've arrived, right? And we get to where we're supposed to be, where we're supposed to be. And this lesson is so true in our personalized in our lives as a klal, ubeprat. We're holding tonight already. Rosh Chodesh Av begins the 9 days, and like we've been talking about, the 22 days Shiva Sivatamas to Tisha B'Av correspond to the 22 days of Rosh Hashanah and Simchas Torah. And Dirshu Hashem Maasei right at the beginning over here, we hear and of Shiva Sabatamas by the Haftarah, Mincha. Dirshu Hashem Maasei Kiro B'Yisai. Call out to him when he's close. And smack in the middle, we know that Parshas Dvarim is always Shabbos Chazai, the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av. And if Parshas Devarim is always the Shabbos before Tisha B'Av, then Parshas Maasei is always the middle Shabbos of the 3 weeks. And it has to be that middle Shabbos of the 3 weeks, even in Chutz La'aretz this year. And Parshas Maasei, smack in the middle of the 3 weeks, in the middle of the Parsha Maasei B'nai Yisrael. Why are we discussing the Maasei B'nai Yisrael? It's because HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us. It's because of his tremendous love for us, and he understands us. And he says, I love you, and I understand you, and I get it, that sometimes you're not well, and sometimes you have to stop, and sometimes you have to take a break and catch your breath, and you get all kinds of anxieties that come on from outside, and you get all kinds of distractions. But I love you. And when we're getting to Eretz Yisrael, at the end of the Geula, at the end of the Gullus, at the beginning of the Geula, again, going from the Zman Geula Seinu, these parshas have been a little bit off until right now, Ben Amtzarim, which could be a Zman Geula Seinu, our Geula for Zeicha. And how can we be Zeicha? Through the Shabbos. If we keep Shabbos properly, Miyan Negolin, Bipratis, Biklalis, all of Klal Yisrael, we should be zeichet to see this, and then we'll be able to look back at all the Maasais, all the different things going on in each and every one of our lives, and everybody has their own ups and downs, and we'll be able to look back and go, so that's what that was. And that's why Hashem did that to me over there. And that's why he did this over here. It's because he loves me. And because he knows that this is what I really need, even when I don't see it myself. Thank you so much for listening. As always, any questions, comments, or feedback, you can leave them in the comment section below.